Hi there, in this screencast I'm going to show you how to do a countdown at the start of your game. So the strategy for doing a countdown is that in the My World class, instead of the key press throwing the game into running mode, which would be right here, instead of going from startup to running mode by detecting a key press S, detecting the S when it's in startup mode is going to put it into countdown mode. So we're going to say game state equals countdown, and then we're going to add a little section for our giant if statement that is going to be else if game state dot equals countdown. Okay, so what happens when the game state is in countdown mode? Well, we start a counter going. So for a counter to be running in the background, we increment an int value every single time the act method executes, which would be 50 times a second. So a counter that we start at 0, or let's say we started at 200, and each time decrement, meaning make the count variable smaller by each execution of the act method, eventually it's going to get down to 0 after 4 seconds. So, and then I want to display the number of seconds remaining on the screen. So I'm going to need a text variable for that, and then for the counter variable itself, I'm going to need an int variable. So I'm going to call my int variable countdown time remaining. Actually, countdown, let me call it countdown num. And then for text, I'm going to say count down text. Let me call it digits or digit. Okay, so in the constructor where I give these variables their initial value, I'm going to say countdown num equals 200, and I'm going to say count down, what did I call it, digits equals new text, and I'm going to start it off at 4. Well, yeah, let's start it off at 4, and then color dot red, and I'll make it really big, 60. Okay, so I want to add the countdown digit to the screen right as the countdown mode is triggered. So I'm going to say add object. This is where game state is in startup mode, and they press the S. And it would be countdown digits, and I'm going to be add it to the middle of the screen. So I'm going to say get width divided by 2, get height of the screen divided by 2. Okay, so now, oh yes, and I need to say countdown num equals 200. Now, I already gave the value of countdown num in the constructor. However, if you want your game to go back into startup mode, it's going to need to reassign a value to countdown num, so you might as well do it also in the key press when the game is in startup mode. So when it's in countdown mode, I'm going to say countdown num minus minus. So that's going to go down 50 times a second, or 50 values per second. So after 1 second, it's going to be down to 150, then it's going to be down to 100, and so on. And when it finally gets down to 0, we're going to give it we're going to change the game into running mode and make the digits disappear. So I'm going to say if countdown equals 0, then remove object countdown num, and at that point I need to add my objects. Well, actually, you know what I forgot? I forgot that when the game goes in to startup countdown mode, I no longer want to add those, and instead I want to only add them when countdown is over. So I would put them there, and I would remove the countdown and what did I call it? Digits. Okay, good, and there we go. Okay, so now, how do I display the digits on the screen? Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say if, and this should be countdown num, if countdown num greater than 150, then set text, and what is it? Countdown digits dot set text, and then 3, oh no, 4. I was starting at 4. And then else if countdown num greater than 100, then set text 3, and then you can guess the way the rest of it goes. Okay, greater than 50, I'm going to put in a 2, and then greater than 0, I'm going to put a 1, and then, let me see, I want go to appear, the word go to appear for just a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase this to, I'm going to set my initial countdown value to 250 instead of 200. So I'm going to give myself some time. Some extra time. So those would be 5 seconds total. So now I'm going to do 200, 150, and then lastly I'm going to do set it to be go, and then I'm going to do, let's see, color. I'm going to change the color to green, and I'm going to, what did I say my font was? 60. It's going to be 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, and then when countdown is 0, I'm going to remove the countdown digits, add the who's winning, etc. Okay, and then when they press S to start again, which is when they're in finished mode, I need to, oh yeah, you know what? Let's see. Well, I'll fix the sound effects afterwards. Let's just see if this works. Okay, so I played my game and I ran it, and all things seemed to go as planned with the countdown appearing on the screen, but then when it started I couldn't do key presses, so my table didn't move anymore. So I went back into my world, and I went to where the countdown goes down to 0, and I could see I forgot to change the game state. So I need to do game state equals running. And now, once the game is over and they press the S key, ordinarily I send it back into startup mode, but instead I'm going to change it into countdown mode. Okay, and then I no longer want to add the pixels remaining at that point, and I no longer want to start the running music playing. So, and I'm trying to, let me go up and see why it started playing up here. Okay, oh, I know. Nope, I did put it there. Whoa. Okay, and my running music is in the wrong place. It shouldn't start until we throw the game state into running mode as well. So, once again, when the game is over, I don't start playing the music.
So my career money is going to be the thing to say.
Don't start playing the running music until it goes back into countdown mode. Okay, and then I think that's it. Actually, no. Essentially, the same things need to happen as when the program is sent into countdown mode. It needs to add the digits. Okay, and then I'm just going to put remove directions for good measure. It actually doesn't matter if you remove something twice when it's not in the world. So here I'm going to do add object, countdown. Oh, and I need to reset the countdown variable. And I need to reset the countdown digits. And then that would be, let's see, 4 color dot red and 60. Okay, so let's hopefully I got everything right now. Oh yeah, I don't want to remove add who's winning yet. Okay.
Why did you kill it?
Okay.
Bring it back. Pizza.
Okay, I am just going to remove directions because it shouldn't be on the screen at that point. Okay, so let's try to run it. And hopefully it's okay, I'll press X to start a new race. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, it worked. And that's how you make a countdown mode.